Welcome back to Weebology. Thanks, y'all, for coming to class. My name is Ricky.
And I'm Ethan.
And what are we talking about today, Ethan?
Today, we are talking about, I think, the best show of the year.
Ooh, spicy.
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Also known as
Demon Slayer.
Okay, this show was so good. But before we get into that, you may have noticed something a little different about our intro. It wasn't the normal theme song.
Yeah, normally it is Dreams by DJ Quad.
It's exactly right. But today, we have been collabing with some other artists, and I have a buddy who is an up-and-coming EDM artist, which you heard about in the last episode. He goes by Diskette Disko, Diskette, Disco with a K. And he made a song. Well, he's a big fan of the podcast, and he was inspired by anime in this one he had just put out called Super Ultra Laser Bimu. And you can listen to it on SoundCloud. You can listen to Diskette Disko on Spotify. Thank you so much for doing this collab with us. And
I will obviously leave the link in the description to both the YouTube and podcast show notes.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a banger.
I think it's a full-on banger.
So he approached me and he was like, "Hey man, like, you know, I love your show and like I want to do something a little bit with anime. I did a samurai inspired one a while back, but this one's a little more explicitly anime if you want to take a listen." And at first I was like, "Okay, I've heard your stuff before. Let's give it a listen." I put it on and I listened to it at work like 5 times today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, can we please do this?" And he's like, "Oh no, 100%. So we're doing a cross collab thing, networking, so get his name out there, get our name out there. So it's a good time. So, you know, we might use stuff like that in the past. If you've got a song or anything you want to submit, you know, drop us a DM on our Instagram and we'll check it out.
Or weebologypodcast at gmail.com.
Shoot us the email with that MP3, baby, and we'll definitely give it a listen and get back to y'all. So
for sure. Or if you want to collab, if you guys have anime podcasts out there and you want to have a little, you know, cross-pollination of audiences, feel free to hit us up.
Turn this class into a seminar, a big, full, stacked lecture of sorts with guest speakers and all of that. So,
anywho,
let's get into it.
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Demon Slayer. Now, Ethan kind of said it best. If you've been listening to the podcast, we put out recently a Vinland Saga episode, which you should go listen to or watch. And I, like many others, have actually considered that in the running for a potential anime of the year. I did say there were a couple others in that episode that could make the mark. The forerunner in my mind is Demon Slayer, for sure.
I would say generally this isn't the style of show that would just crush it for me.
Ain't that weird, though?
But it did so hard.
It did. And I think I was watching reviews and stuff like that, and everyone kind of said it best that the whole was greater than the sum of its parts here, but all of the parts were so quality. Everything was quality. This show, there was no... I can try to find a negative, and I think we'll take a little bit to try, but I would really be reaching. They'd be nitpicks at this point, right?
I mean, it's beautiful. I think Ufotable did a very good job with this show.
If that name, if you recognize that name, they're in charge of the grand majority of the Fate Stay series. You know, Unlimited Blade Works, and the original Fate Stay stuff. They've always been pretty celebrated for their progressive animation techniques, you know, dynamic camera angles, very tasteful CGI in places where they're meant to be, and this show was no exception. If anything, it set a benchmark for me in full quality animation. Even at its worst parts, it was better than half the shows I've ever seen in the same year even.
Yeah, so this show came out obviously this summer, 2019 season, and you know, even through the first episode, I felt like it was artistically a masterpiece right off the rip.
Like, really, episode 1, you could tell you're looking at something different, for sure.
And I think the way that they used the styles of sword play / concentration breathing.
Brilliant
to
system.
Just expound on the art. Because every time one of these guys uses one of these breathing techniques, there's some blast of art that comes out of their sword.
It really felt
to just kind of show you the flow.
Yes.
And the like beauty of the, martial arts or whatever you want to call it.
It felt like, I think Giguk even said it best. A YouTuber said it was like you were watching a painting. Like it was so weird how you were seeing something that you would consider, handcrafted or hand painted come to life in a way that's more mass producible. And that really is a testament to Ufotable's, care, because Demon Slayer is a very popular manga around the world, and I guess a lot of people that read it were very, very hype. Were very hype on seeing this, but I don't think anyone, myself included, saw this coming, even within the first 3 eps. You maybe have known you're watching something of quality, but not this step above. Before we get into the plot, last gush, I guess it had such an impact that I have not felt this kind of mesmerization or seeing something that went above exemplary, above being great than One Punch Man Season 1. Was the last time for me that I watched a brand new IP when there's that, like, that's going to be a classic right there. That's going to be a banger. So, let's get into it. What's this? Tell me about the world, Ethan. What kind of, before we get into our specific main character's journey, what's the world around like in Demon Slayer?
Yeah, I mean, they don't give you a whole lot of detail, I wouldn't say, but it does seem to be placed in kind of like a samurai era type time within Japan. I think, our main character comes from the mountain region, the mountainous region, whatever you want to call it, and so they have like very not very like city type like dwellings. Like it's just out in the middle of the woods on a mountain by himself.
It's essentially the boonies, like straight up boonies. But that isn't to say this world is devoid of technology. There are definitely places. It almost kind of felt like a turn of the century 20s almost vibe to some of these places. The more urban areas definitely felt like you were pulling straight out of like 20s dress and 20s technology and the aesthetic of the buildings and settings. So it definitely felt like you were in a dated time, but it wasn't so dated it was unrelatable,
For sure.
Yeah. So this is where we'll give our explicit warning for potential spoilers, but I don't think there's too much twists and turns to spoil in this particular season. There will be some early ones, but that's episode 1 stuff.
Here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
We will go very light to no spoiler for 90% of the episode. Mm-hmm. And then in the last couple of minutes,
we'll hit you with a couple.
I think we hit hard and just go in. And so if you are spoiler adverse,
yes,
like 50 minutes in, we'll tell you when, and then you can go ahead and skip out.
Yeah, me and Ethan were chatting about this, and we know that there are people that this whole podcast initiative, I would say primarily is to get those that maybe aren't super deep into anime to start to kind of dig deeper into it. And a lot of these shows we know may not have been something you even watched, even if it is from the past season.
Right.
It's something that we wanted to expose you to, so we're going to start kind of scooting any spoilers to the very, very end. And if you are either you don't care about the spoilers or you maybe want to come back and watch it, you won't be devoid of an entire episode, maybe just a bit. But this will contain a couple plot points in the first couple episodes. They're not really spoilers. They're just kind of setting the scene for the rest of the season. So,
right.
Who's our main character? Who do we start out with?
Our main character is Tanjiro Komada.
Komada? Yes.
Komada.
So, Tanjiro is this boy living in the mountains with his sweet family.
It's a very large family.
It's like what, like 6 kids?
And it's a lot of kids.
It's got a pops.
A mom and a dad.
Mom and a pops. A good old fashioned nuclear family times 3. It's a lot of kids. Triple nuclear. So they're living their lives, and something we have not mentioned about the world that they live in is that demons do exist. As you could probably tell by the very cryptic title, Demon Slayer. Man, that's a hard one to avoid.
What they meant is taxes. He has this insane tax lien against his house, and he just finally slays it by the end of the season.
He's a demon in the courtroom. Is what he is. Tax evasion, but the highest point of the law. So demons do exist, and Tanjiro goes out to do his family duties in the snowy mountain area, and
it seems like his duties are to make firewood and go sell it in the town.
Essentially, yes. And everyone in the town loves him.
They love this kid.
He helps everybody. He is, in terms of like main characters in a lot of shows, and this is by and large a shonen, almost seinen. It's a little mature, but it's still in the shonen camp, as I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that is an interesting point to bring up. I think it does feel seinen more because of like the insanely like strong art style.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any shonens that have that kind of art, and it just makes you feel like you're like visually you're taking in so much every scene.
Right.
It's a lot like, in some ways, Made in Abyss, where there's just so much like visual information per panel.
Oh yeah, and I was getting into it. It does have the art style that it has is very super clean, super descriptive visually. That a lot of the violence is kind of in your face, and
Right.
that's my cutoff from shonen to seinen, because shows your typical shonens, Naruto's, Bleach's, stuff like that. It may have blood, it may have a little bit of violence. It does have violence, but in terms of the graphicness of it all, this show, Demon Slayer, definitely takes it just a step further, where you're kind of bordering on the line. And we say all of that because as he's performing his duties down in the town, as we see him, he's on his way back and he notices something off. To Tanjiro's point, what does he notice even before he gets to his house?
So Tanjiro has this ability of like super scent.
Yes, he is very, very, very powerful at smelling stuff.
In the smell.
He's a smelly boy, in the best terms, in the best kind of terms. He smells the scent of blood, and he notices it from much, much farther away than his house. And the scene of him running through the house is just beautiful. You're going to hear us gushing about how beautiful this show is, but him running through the trees,
Well, he actually gets kept from going up there.
Good point. What was that again? That was a while ago. It was a couple months ago.
Yeah, so he was coming back from his duties in town,
Mm-hmm.
and he is gonna go back up towards his house up in the mountains. Well, it's nighttime in the winter,
Right.
so this guy tells him, "Hey, man, stay at my house. Like, I can't have you die
That's
out there
right.
on the way back."
Didn't even say that it's dangerous. There are demons around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good point. I remember that. That was a good way to introduce the demons, because an adult felt that our main character needed to be protected from this threat, which is fascinating.
Exacta.
Exactamundo. So he stays at this dude's house and says, "Hey, I gotta get back to my fam." So as he's going back, that's when he smells the scent of blood, right? Okay. So what does he find when he gets to the house, Ethan?
Yeah, his whole family's dead.
Pretty much are all ripped to shreds.
They're
Just
bleeding all over the place.
pretty much snow, white and red and white everywhere.
It was a red wedding all over again.
What was it? Did the demons get all of them?
Well, they got most of them.
Oh yeah,
They almost got them all.
they missed one.
Well, they might have gotten them all in one regard.
Flush it out for me, Ethan. What happened?
So he goes back and he finds that his younger sister, Nezuko...
I'm not gonna do it quite yet, but I'll do it in a second.
Nezuko-chan?
Nezuko-chan!
has been turned into a demon.
Oh my god, man! Like, she might be the cutest little sister of all time.
For real.
Later, however, he then basically finds her still alive and breathing and tries to go get help, right?
Right.
And he puts her in like this kind of backpack basket thing, and out bursts her with new pink eyes and veins all over her head, ready to eat his ass.
Yeah, big ass nails and teeth.
It's crazy. And then a swordsman comes out of nowhere because he sensed that there is a powerful demon nearby. And what is his name? It's Tomaida. And he says, "Get the fuck away from that. That's a demon." and Tanjiro you fool. And Tanjiro basically defends her. And
this is not a demon, it's my little sister.
The little sister, you ass. Don't even think about pointing that sword at me. And what was he? Was he moved by this? That's the genuine question.
So he was moved by his, willingness to get in between them.
Yeah.
But he was also interested in the fact that she didn't seem to be wanting to eat, his face, Tanjiro? She was actually protecting Tanjiro.
Right.
And that is not common for demons. Generally, demons, as a demonologist, generally what happens is once you turn into a demon,
what is this?
You just eat you eat any human regardless of their relation to you.
Like 99.9% of demons are all bloodthirsty killers, which is fascinating. So he then what was his course of action? He lets them go, but points him in the direction of someone.
Essentially what he does is he makes him prove to him that he's willing to fight to keep his sister alive.
Right.
And he keeps rushing at him head on, does Tanjiro, and that just ain't gonna fly. So he has to use a little bit of a tricky tactic. He grabs his hatchet, he throws it very high in the air, and runs straight at him. And he's like, this idiot.
Goof, yeah.
And then, little does he know, there's a little special thing coming down from the sky. So he ends up, obviously blocking it deftly as a master swordsman. And this had proved to him that he was willing to go the extra mile and protect his family, and that's kind of what he was looking for.
It wasn't just the extra mile and the dedication he saw. There was clear talent demonstrated. I mean, it's not like Tanjiro was experienced at fighting, but he had enough wit to make a plan on the spot.
Right,
to
fair enough.
Do the best chance he could, because there was a level of, that was pretty badass, kid.
That wasn't that bad, yeah.
It wasn't half bad for a hatchet-wielding boony kid.
Yeah, boony boy.
You little hillbilly. So
he points him in the direction of Master Uradaka or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Mask Man, because
the Fox Man.
Because he is
Maxed Fox Coon.
Maxed Fox Coon. He points him in the direction of this old fella, who then begins to teach Tanjiro in the ways of demon slaying. And that is where it kind of kicks off. What happens here is he's on a mission. Tanjiro's on a mission to save Nezuko-chan and try to make her a human again.
Right.
A feat nearly kind of unprecedented, because
unprecedented.
No one's ever tried.
Been heard of.
Yeah, so I guess everyone's kind of impressed by his sheer will and bond with his sister, and that kind of propels him forward into becoming a stronger and stronger demon slayer. We learn later that he's not alone in this demon slaying. There's a whole corps. There's a whole group of people that are demon slayers, called the Demon Slayer Corps. Who would have thunk?
They're really good at naming these things. The show called Demon Slayer.
Hey, make it simple for me. Yeah. I just want to follow the beautifulness of this show.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Kiss it up. So it starts from there, and then we can kind of talk about some of the characters we meet and the people you'll be experiencing. And I'd like to start, before we get into characters, these demons are insanely powerful. Obviously. I mean, as we learn later, that they're superhuman speed, strength. They even have demonic abilities and power called blood arts. And these demon slayers need a way to combat them, that basically play at the demon's level. How do they go about that? What is the power system in this show, Ethan?
Yeah, so the actual manifestation, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like they use this thing called total concentration breathing.
Yes.
And there's different styles of this.
Right. So, as overarching core, total concentration breathing is a breathing technique that increases the physical output of your body. Basically, it makes you super strong. The way I saw it is, those that are JoJo fans, it's essentially Hamon. He's just breathing to mass with the sun, but it's more eternal than that. You can kind of akin it in terms of ability.
It's kind of like the Wim Hof breathing method.
Kind of? Maybe? It's more so the way I see it is I'm just gonna like gloss over that. It's essentially it reminds me of kind of the inner gates, like light inner gates from Naruto, because the reward risk is the same, where it is a huge strain on the body, but you're increasing your physical output by multiple times.
It could be Kaioken type.
It is Kaioken. It's got less to do with aura, though, I think. Because it does seem like... Because every time it's like he tries to...
Yeah, well, I don't know.
He tries to, okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's anything like that, where it's an instant invocation of you're now this much more powerful for a limited amount of time, but it is a huge strain on your body, so you better be training up your body to keep up with it. But the advantage it gives you is that you can keep up with supernatural demons, essentially. But I guess Ethan got into a little bit of the styles of swordsmanship, because there are these special blades that are the only thing that can kill demons, that they really have at their disposal, is these, what are they called, like Nichian blades or Nichian blades?
Something like that.
Yeah, so... Nichiren, yeah.
Something of that nature, very Japanese name.
Speaking of nature... These styles of swordsmanship you use with total concentration breathing is more about swordsmanship style. But the show has so much visual representation of that, it kind of reminded me of like a sports anime. Where these moves that aren't necessarily superpowered...
What?
Wait for it. Like, iShield 21. There are scenes in there that'll show people bum rushing, like blitzing or something, and it'll show them looking like they're running like a tiger or running like a bull. They're not actually doing that, but it's a visual representation of just...
Tiger style, run!
Tiger style, blitz the quarterback. So Tanjiro gets studied in the water style, essentially. So he learns more fluid swordsmanship. And how does it look on screen, Ethan?
It looks like a raging torrent of beautiful water.
It's so damn good and
so
crispy.
Gorgeous.
It's
like the Japanese tsunami art that you would probably everyone on Earth has seen, regardless of your anime proclivities.
Right.
Also, depending on the different style he's using, like Form 1, Form 9, blah, 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 blah. There's different manifestations in terms of the water usage on the screen and stuff like that.
Like there's my favorite
Dawn Rain or whatever.
Yeah, is that the one like Gentle Rain?
Yes.
Like Form 5 or something. There's a part later where he finds a need to perform an execution with no pain. And it is one of his forms is that like the water is called it's called Form 5 Gentle Rain, where it's a clean cut and no pain is present.
And it manifests in just like dripping down like a dawn rain. So like basically a sunset and just little drops splashing. And
like I said, it's very important to note that like the water isn't physically manifesting. There are fire breathings
or
later.
Is it?
Because you don't see it there. It's not there later. It's not like water would stay around if it was actually a raging torrent, but it's not. But the show animates this so well that it makes you kind of think, is it there or not?
I think it is.
You think so? There's actually like theories. There's debates online because the lore.
Okay, well they're dumb. I'm lying.
The lore says no, but people are like, well,
but my body says yes.
My body says yes. So that's the thing. It's swordsmanship style in the spirit of certain elementals or ideas, and the real power is coming from this breathing technique that increases your power and speed. And Tanjiro is not the only person to learn this.
There is quite a few people that know this stuff.
So let's run down some of these characters right quick.
Okay.
So first, let's...
Feel free to begin.
Okay. Well, I'll say first, Nezuko-chan is probably the cutest damn thing to happen to anime all year.
Easy.
Oh my god. She doesn't speak because they actually tied a piece of bamboo to her mouth just to keep her chomping on something, I guess.
Yes.
And to, I guess, protect people. I guess that happened from an early episode. So she doesn't speak. She just communicates in emotes and cute little noises.
If you check our YouTube channel, I actually have this this video I've been working on for a very long time. It's like 30 minutes of Nezuko turning into a little kid and running around, and it's got lo-fi hip-hop behind it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So Nezuko lo-fi?
Yeah.
That's rad. If you don't know what she looks like...
Yeah, check out this YouTube video.
Oh, I was going to put a picture of Nezuko-chan right here.
Okay.
Fine. Here.
This YouTube video...
We're over there?
Well, I assume it's going to be in the little annotation where you have the link to it.
Look at that.
But this is Nezuko-chan
look
as a child.
Look at her. And now look at that. Now look at this.
Do all of these things.
Yes. You can't click her. She's not meant to be touched. She is meant to be protected.
Yeah.
Look at the YouTube video.
I just realized we're also doing a podcast, so if anyone's listening at home, just don't worry about this.
Yeah, we're waving our arms.
But do check out our YouTube channel. Yep. Anywho, so Nezuko is his little sister turned demon, turned sleepy corpse.
Sleepy corpse. So that's what makes her a unique demon, is a lot of demons actually have to go out and feed on blood. That to even just kind of stay alive, but also to gain power. One of the things that makes Nezuko-chan different is that she doesn't have that desire, but she also sleeps for an insane amount of time.
Like multiple days.
Or in weeks even, yeah. So like
years.
Oh my god, centuries. So there's not just that
eons.
too. Eons. Sleeping Nezuko-chan will be sleeping until the heat death of the universe.
Yes.
So not just that too, is that all demons kind of get a little pissed off in the sun.
Yeah, they die.
That's the two things, is that they're these special blades that, side note, change color depending on who's holding them. That's pretty rad. Those blades that demon slayers have, and the sun. These are their two weaknesses. Otherwise, I think they live essentially forever, right?
Well, it kind of seemed like if you chop off a head, regardless of the sword,
yeah,
it'll kill them.
That's the thing. It seemed also like it did kill them eventually. Like, they were alive for minutes after it wasn't the sword.
Yeah, fair enough. It might need to be the sword, or it might need to be the sun.
That's the thing.
Fair point.
They don't disintegrate unless it's those two things. I bet if you chopped it off, it's kind of like a Hidan from Naruto that you'd probably just like starve to death.
I was thinking it could be one of them Attack on Titan type jams where there's a specific little node back there.
I feel you.
Anywho, continuing on.
Yeah, so we, as Tanjiro joins the Demon Slayer Corps and goes on his missions to kill demons, he meets...
well, how does he join it?
He joins it by taking the final selection.
Right, so he has to be taught by a previous Hashira, which is just a club of really strong dudes, essentially.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
And he has to be recommended to go take the final selection.
Mm-hmm.
So him and all the other students around the galaxy area with other
across
teachers,
the stars, all come to Earth, right?
All come over to this one mountain that has a shiz ton of demons on it.
Yeah.
And it's basically... There's wisteria all the way around the bottom, which has basically trapped all the demons up on the mountain because they are unable to cross or be near wisteria, essentially.
Yes, and it makes it really useful to have them all kind of trapped up there. These low to mid-level demons basically says, hey,
Two big boys.
Go up and kill one. That's your selection. And don't die, essentially, right?
Right.
That's really it. I don't even know if there's a time limit. I think it's just like you come back, there's proof that you killed it, and
I think it was something about the time up there that you spent. Like you had to stay up there for like overnight or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
Oh you're right. You have to. I think it's not even a time maximum. It might be a time minimum. Like you have to stay there all night.
Right.
Or at least that. I don't know. That was unclear, but that was the one criteria. Kill a demon, come back alive. Good night, essentially. Yeah, then he becomes, he does it. He kills a pig boy. And,
he actually kills this demon that had been plaguing his teacher.
Oh, right. He learned from his teacher. He says, I'm going to go take it and I'm going to kill him up there.
Yes.
I forgot what he looked like. Which one was that one again?
The one that, it was like 28 kids worth or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a big blob of a bunch of demons smashed into one. And this guy had been plaguing this final selection thing for quite a while.
Right, because he kept eating his former students.
Right.
That's it.
And he knew based off the mask that Fox-kun gave him that he was also one of the students, so that's why he went after him. Type beat.
I feel you. So like I said, we're not to give too much away, but he does become a demon slayer.
Believe it or not,
yeah.
I thought he was going to fail the selection, and then the show would just end on episode 6.
Oh, wow. Yeah? That's
I
it?
figured that was kind of just it.
That'd have been some Game of Thrones shit. Just kill the main character.
And Nezuko-chan eats Mr. Uradaku Count Dooku.
That'd actually be... Dude, what a...
Mr. Fox-kun.
How mad would you be if that, like, these beautiful 5 episodes, just this beautiful story and progression, and then out like a light. You're done. 6 episodes.
It would not be ideal.
Absolutely not. So we get to... he's a demon slayer. Now he is performing his demon slayer duties. He has to go out. He gets a small talking crow who's kind of a bitch. It's not a bitch. He's an asshole. So there's a difference.
There's a slight difference.
There's a difference. He's very frank, but he does talk. To Tanjiro and says, "Hey, headquarters says go northwest of this place."
Who else does he meet during this period, though?
That we don't get to know him till later, right?
They meet him, don't they?
They don't get to team up till later.
Yeah, I thought they just exchanged pleasantries, but I guess my bad. They go on some missions, and he carries Nezuko in a little backpack with him everywhere he goes.
Yep. And so
a demon hunter or slayer, whatever you want to call him,
yes,
is rocking around with a demon in his backpack.
That is not okay.
Turns out
not okay.
Not allowed.
But no one really knows except for the people that that one demon slayer that saved him and told him to go get trained, and the guy who trained him are the 2 people that know.
Tamioka and Mr. Fox-kun.
Mr. Fox-kun. So on his travels, he meets other demon slayers that he did in fact meet at the final selection. One of them's name is Zenitsu.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about Zenitsu, dude.
He tough. Tough to watch. Tough to care about.
There it is, everybody.
Like.
So Zenitsu.
Tough to want to live.
Yeah, how do I describe him any other way than...
He's a whiny bitch version of
Grade A, grass-fed, USDA approved, choice cut bitch. He is so fucking whiny.
Yes.
That he is like early Black Clover Asta annoying. In terms of just screaming.
If not worse.
Oh, I'd say worse. I'd say
for
way
sure worse.
So he's a little bitch. He adorns a yellow kind of coat and
coat,
I guess, and or like a kimono. I don't know.
Kimono.
And he's got a yellow bowl cut. And he is afraid of everything. He's afraid of demons. So he was afraid at the final selection. So you saw these people at the final selection. He was scared, probably literally shitless. Like he was dripping with sweat before even going up there. So you were thinking he's a bitch. But of the many that went up there, he was one of like 4 to come down.
Yeah. So
that was one of the shock. I was like, how the fuck did this kid? Did he hide the whole time? Like I thought he had to kill somebody. So he must have. So he got to be a demon slayer. So he starts to travel with Tanjiro because I guess does he meet him up at missions? Is that all that was?
Yeah, so there's some other missions that go down before this and just kind of establish that Tanjiro and Little Miss Nezuko-chan are working on becoming demon slayers in their own right. Nezuko-chan seems to be doing a good job of supporting her brother through his
what is this? Now back to weebology with Ricky and Ethan.
Yeah, she's doing a good job like supporting his career.
Yeah, no, almost literally, because there are times where she'll come out and she will kick ass, dude. Like, without question. Every time she comes out, she wipes the floor with some demons. And Mr. Fox Maskun kind of instilled in her like, you are not to wasn't even a hypnotizing. Doesn't he actually hypnotize her and says
He basically says, "Protect your bro.
humans are not your enemy. Demons are your enemy." And
Humans
she's like,
are our friends.
and she's
not
like,
food."
"Hi," and goes back to bed. So Zenitsu,
Wait,
yes,
he meets a very special character who's a demon woman,
oh yeah, what's her name?
Tamoya.
That's
So essentially, the whole show is about our dear friend Tanjiro attempting to find out who killed his family and to get revenge and turn his sister back into human. Into human.
the real big three. So he meets, say her name again, because actually I
Well,
know who she is.
How does he meet her? Come on, dog.
I forgot, dude. The first like 10 episodes are a blur.
So he smells the smell when he's in the city.
Oh yeah, and he smells what smells like. He actually smells a demon amongst the crowd?
He smells the demon that was also at the place that killed all his whole family.
Uh-huh.
Weird. So he follows his little sniffer, and he goes and he tries to find this demon that killed his family and take revenge. But little does he know, this demon, Monsieur Kuzan, is an absolute badass.
Oh, is it a Muzan?
Muzan.
He's another name like Kitsubushi?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But Muzan,
Kimetsu or something like that.
we find out not only was he there the night his family was murdered and has something to do with Nezuko-chan becoming the way she is. He's insanely
He kind of seems
strong.
like he's the originator of all demons almost.
He's like super powerful, beyond powerful.
And so, he has a pretty big chance of killing Tanjiro here, and
like without even thinking.
And this lady Tomoya ends up using her demon blood art to kind of mask the area and get them out of there.
This kind of like smoke screen of sorts.
Right. So they end up going back. So Tanjiro and Nezuko-chan go to Tomoya, and they kind of learn how she's a demon that's subsiding, or whatever you want to call it, like subsisting off of other things except for blood.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like trying to work towards like returning all these demons back to humanity. So this is your first glimpse that there is a way potentially of doing this for Nezuko. And she's also very like positive towards this mission, which is cool because there's not been many people so far that have been.
Right.
And she gives him the kind of the hope of like, look, you go after these thing called the 12 Kuzuki.
Yes.
Which are the most closely related to that Muzan guy.
Right. We find out that the more blood you've been given by this Muzan fella, the stronger you'll become, which kind of alludes to the fact that he might be the lead head of this group of sorts, because it's literally his blood, and that is like the source of power, like pure demonic power.
Right.
And his overarching mission, not just the ones from the Demon Slayer Corps, but get me demon blood. The more you get and the more powerful the demons that you get it from, the quicker I can synthesize a potential demon reversing serum of sorts. And that becomes Tanjiro's kind of overarching driving force. He now has a plan. There's a method to his desire, which is pretty dope.
When you're just some country bumpkin, you don't know how to turn your sister back into a human.
Oh yeah. And I think that's a good place to stop with the plot, because the rest of the plot kind of not necessarily gives more away or anything like that, but we want to be not so spoilery. But we can go into the characters. We already mentioned Zenitsu. He is a bitch, but is he a bitch
of the highest calendar?
Of the highest caliber.
Calendar.
Of the highest calendar. Is he a bitch all the time?
Yes.
He's a bitch all the time. There, you heard it. So he's literally, when he's up and active, he's a little bitch, and he follows him everywhere. However, he does meet Nezuko. Now, like we said, it's very uncouth for a demon slayer to be in cahoots with any demon. So how does Zenitsu react when he meets Nezuko?
Yeah, he's got this little flaw where he's a very, very big womanizer, and he's into chickies.
Yeah, no, so womanizer, not very good one.
Yeah.
He pines after chicks. Like, he wants to, like, get married and do this.
So please learn how to treat women with respect.
Yeah, so while Tanjiro has a crow, he has, like, a little robin. And his little robin's like, hey, no, that's later. But the little robin's always
talking shit to him.
Always talking shit. Less of it being an asshole and more of like, dude, you really need to like get your shit in order. Like
yeah, you suck, man.
You really do. He's like an avian advisor of sorts, and I keep using of sorts because I'm trying to keep it vague so you guys can go and watch it for yourself. But they meet somebody else. Somebody that became a demon slayer, but a little bit unintentionally.
Right.
And what's this guy's name?
This boy is Inosuke.
Inosuke. And he probably, I like Tanjiro, I like Zenitsu. Inosuke is my favorite of the three. Oh, he's my favorite.
Okay.
So
why?
This guy's shtick, when the first time you meet him, you actually meet him during the final selection on that mountain. He is a nude dude with like a skirt looking thing on made out of pelt. And he is wearing a boar's head. Not that oven roast shit. That actual boar's head. And
not the deli meat.
Not the deli meats, but I can go for some cold cuts right now. But he's legitimately a man who was raised by beasts through and through and kills a demon and becomes a demon slayer without really knowing it. So he's a dual wielder. He wields two kind of these like serrated swords, and where like Tanjiro's got water.
In the whole show.
Yes, Tanjiro's got water. Zenitsu's got his own element, but he is like a beast breather.
Right. So he just like naturally learned how to breathe like a beast style because he was theoretically raised by wolves. Essentially. Or whatever.
Yeah. So we find out later like one of his interesting skills is that he does like a beast breathing formation where he gains this insane sensory ability. Like this massive, almost like N from Hunter x Hunter, and just knows everyone's positions for like dozens and dozens of meters away, and that seems like a very beast
or observation hockey for you One Piece fans.
There you go. So he's very good at a lot of the things you'd have to learn how to know to do in the wild to kind of survive the torrents of power that is nature and all its nasty glory. So these three guys become this kind of little friend squad. And I think that's
friend squad.
And I think it's important to get into some of the highlights of the themes of the show. One of them, man, is totally that trio. Their interplay is so funny because Inosuke is this brutish dude. Tanjiro is this really kind of kind-hearted, but gets really really determined. And
he's a perfect boy.
He's a perfect boy. And Zenitsu is, a womanizing bitch.
A fool
even. And their interactions are just, they're genuine.
Sad little boy.
He's a sad little boy.
Little baby coward man.
Seems like you're harping on it.
Trash cow.
Trash cow. Yeah, he's kind of a twerp, man. So their interactions, like, they're some of the most genuine I've seen in any shonen. And I like it when a cast, like a core cast, keeps it tight. You can have a lot more people, like, they meet some of the higher demon slayers later, named the Hashira, and
higher ranked. He doesn't mean on drugs.
I mean, a couple of them look like they might be on drugs.
On vitamins.
A couple of them look like they're on some sweet vitamin D. So
yes, on some vitamins.
Yeah. What kind of, I don't know, you like any, like the themes of this show, the overarching stuff? Anything you thought about? I've had a couple thoughts about why I think the way this show is written is very cool.
Like themes, not particularly. I would say, like never giving up is obviously a massive theme that they're dealing with, shonen style. I think.
But it seems like it's. I like shonen's
determination in general, because like all of it requires insane determination and
right.
not studying but training and stuff like that just to continue on.
I kind of like to like a little bit when there's something to protect at a more explicit level. Like Naruto wants to protect his friends, Ichigo wants to protect his friends. Cool. There's some other far off nebulous goals that are not nebulous. They're actually pretty concrete, but they're not too tangible. Like Midori wants to be the greatest hero, and Luffy wants to find One Piece. But people like Gon and Tanjiro is like, I want to find my dad. I want to save my sister. There seems concrete, personal. There's a human element involved. They're the ones that are most grounding. I like that a lot. Also, the way they kind of start to change on what demons really are. I mean, Tanjiro, he's such a kind soul that some of the demons later, it goes from a black and white demon slayers versus demons to more of
like pity and sadness for them having turned into, this mind, numbingly bad thing.
Right. And
I think it's interesting, a lot of these demons didn't intentionally turn into demons.
Right.
So it's like, it's a little less black and white, like you're saying, and a little bit more of a, is it a mercy to get rid of these, humans or demons?
Exactly.
So they don't any longer have to survive off of humanity. I think perhaps a lot of people would say yes.
Right. And yes, I mean, it has a very Bleach feel where the rigidity of the core, the Demon Slayer corpse is basically saying they're always bad. We've been doing this for hundreds of years. It's not going to change. Rigid, rigid, rigid. But then a main character comes along that is an exception to the rule, but it's his personality.
Explain the exception to the Bleach rule.
The substitute Shinigamis, basically Rukia stabs him and gives him all his powers. That's completely not allowed, but it was Ichigo that overturned.
Fair enough. I thought you were going to say there was some good hollow I didn't know about. I was like, no, I don't think so, bud.
What's her face? The old number 3?
Halle Bell?
No.
Nello?
No. She's technically a good hollow. She's a good Rancor. She's turned tail, right? And
she
was
got
kind of a good
literally
guy.
Mentally disabled. I don't understand.
But she's cute though. She's turned tail. Well, she was more betrayed, so she's kind of sworn against. But I was saying, basically, Soul Society and the Demon Slayer Corps have kind of a similar feel of this is rigidity. These are the rules. They've always been this way, and how dare you defy them? But it's someone like Tanjiro and Nezuko-chan that can come in and break the rigidity. And they do it on a couple, like, not just the Demon Slayer Corps' rule rigidity, but their perception of demons. Because Nezuko, as a demon, totally shattered their world. They've never seen a demon that didn't eat somebody.
I agree. It's definitely a parallel that can be made. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fairly realistic parallel to be made.
Right.
But I do agree. I think Nezuko shattering their kind of worldview of what it means. Whoa.
Yikers. Y'all saw, YouTube saw that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, whatever, changes what it means to be a demon to them, and just kind of like, you kind of see some of the Hashiras come up to him later and be like, yo, I like, now that I know what's going on, like, I'm behind you. I hope you do well type
yeah.
beat. And I think we're about 50 minutes in, so it's about time for real spoilers.
So real spoilers, predictions for the next season,
well, beforehand,
stuff like that. Yep.
Guys, if you have not seen this, please do. It's 26 episodes, I believe.
Right. I mean, 26 episodes.
Gorgeous.
The second arc has been confirmed to be a movie adaptation, actually. Just let it be known.
Multi-movies, hopefully.
Maybe. But I will
say it ended and it felt very clean.
Yes, the ending was
clean-ass ending.
It was a good break. They know their new mission. We were given a lot of good information, which we'll go into in a second. But I would honestly rate this like in the 96, 97 out of 100 demons. Like
I'm putting it at 95, 12 Kizuki out of 112 Kizuki.
That's the most absurd rating system I've ever heard. But yeah, that's one thing we're saying is before those that want to go watch it leave, to let those that have stick around for the spoilers, or if you haven't and want to hear us talk some more, fuck it. What can you say anything negative about this show? If you had to try to find something, what would it be?
Some of the early episodes are slightly slow as a result of the art style, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're supposed to I think it is very, very intentionally paced slowly, or like in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you're on foot, you're in ancient Japan, you're out there just trudging up mountains and shit like that. Like, obviously, it's not going to be instantaneous type movement.
Right.
And so I think that was maybe a little bit of a negative for me originally.
I can buy that. I actually, might disagree just a bit, only because.
Well, you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm like more right.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Okay, then I guess you're wrong then. We are given as much information as Tanjiro is in the beginning. We're kind of as bewildered as what the fuck is happening. It's once he gains information that it feels like it picks up, but I kind of like it. It never felt slow because of bad writing. It felt slow because we were being drip fed the exact same as Tanjiro. There are other shows that feel slow while it's still being bombarded with information. Made in Abyss had a couple episodes that were slow, even if the information wasn't. We were still being fed with so much lore.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
That's my 2 cents on that. But
I think it's slow just because you're out there walking around and they didn't really have a direction in the beginning, you know?
Right. That's a written expectation for you
That's
to
what I
feel
just
bewildered.
said.
Fine, whatever. The other thing, if I were to have any nitpick, it's that there are points in the animation where it felt a little low budget. There's like those montage kind of things. It's not the ending necessarily. It was like they were almost like slightly moving background and like kind of like chibi clips of them. It almost felt weirdly montaged in the middle there, where they were trying to get through like going to a lot of spots in a little bit of time. There was that, you know, when they would have those like transitions where it's like 3 heads going across
I like
the screen?
those. That's just me, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Nitpick still, but even Ufotable could make what was obviously their lowest budget scenes still look really good and fun and chipper. I like that a lot. So that's the only thing I can really complain about. Like I said, is it a perfect anime? Some would say no. Is it as close as we're going to get this year? Probably. So, spoiler time, baby. The 12 Kizuki we saw at the end, the lower 6, that whole scene with Muzan, was so damn perfect for a season ender.
It was so cool. It was gorgeous. Like the whole environment was sick. Like they were all crazy disoriented, summoned to this world.
Right.
And then like they were all put in front of Muzan, just showed insane power.
Like, I felt as disoriented as they did.
I was about to barf.
Oh, okay.
I thought about it.
Are you sure you just weren't sick?
Maybe.
That scene didn't help. But it was clear. And so at the very end, when basically Muzan was interrogating them, he can read their fucking mind, even if they were verbally totally compliant with him.
Because he's got the blood's in him.
I didn't even think about that's why he can read their mind. Oh, shut up.
What
Whatever.
an idiot.
He's so many powers. He had like
sorry, are you a professor or a student?
I'm a professor of weebology. Don't you forget it. And how dare you speak for me? No, so there's and the fact that he had like that. The reason why I thought it was a separate power is because he had hyper speed and strength. He caught that lower 5 heading out the door without him even realizing it.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
He can read their mind, probably because he had the blood was inside of them. But he also like that. He had like that that Hellsing kind of style, like eye tentacle thing.
Yeah, Akira style.
That was rad, and that's how he ate all of them, and that was crazy. But the last guy, basically both inside and out, was like
the last trap.
The last dude. Was he a trap?
I'm 90% sure that's actually a chick, but whatever.
I thought it was a dude.
Who knows?
Nah, the writers might. But yeah,
doubt it.
Basically, they said, so what do you got to say for yourself before you die? It's like, I'm just blessed that you left me for last to see you kill all 5 of them and be in your grace while you do it. And he's like,
that's what I like.
That's pretty rad. Boom, hits him in the neck, gives him some more blood, like a fuck ton of blood. And he says, if you survive this, you're going to be like wicked powerful. And then you see him at the very end of the season on the same train as those three.
Yeah, he says, go kill the guy with the rising sun earrings.
And that's Tanjiro, baby.
Hanafuda, I think it's called. Or...
Yeah.
And then and also go kill whatever the fire boy's name is, flame breathing.
The flame pillar.
Yeah.
So it's one of the Hashira.
Ryo Watch or something. I love the Hashira. They were all very unique. Had their own style that they were the heads of.
This character design so good. The demons especially. Just we have Muzin's essentially Demon Michael Jackson. Y'all. Which is there's so many memes on Reddit right now of just Michael Jackson Muzin comparisons. I would say one of the highlights for me was definitely. I
will say I almost quit on episode 13.
Which one was that?
Zenitsu whining like a little baby in the house for like an hour.
Until he fell asleep.
Yeah, okay, but like, did I need to hear all this whining? I don't think so.
I actually liked his whining after that point.
Oh my god.
I did. Because there's such a huge disparity because he is just a fearful dude. Is it easy to listen to? No. I'm not going to give you that. Acoustically, no. Character-wise, to me it's really great because he's a little bitch until he until he's fainted or asleep or so tired he can't even think, and when his fear response is gone, he just hones in on all of his lightning training. And to me, I think he's more powerful than Tanjiro at this point. Like,
I don't agree.
If he taps
total concentration breathing, punk.
That's what they all know. Total concentration.
I think total concentration. Been working on it for a whole month long.
Fine. Okay. There was a whole period where I would have considered that until total concentration constant, where he's basically right now. It's like he's always in like the first or second inner gate,
right?
Like all the time. Now
right.
Then you're right. At this point, he is unless they know it now, because they have some weird time skips a little bit.
Because they all destroy the gourd, so that's trying to kind of re-level them.
But there's still Tanjiro's got that one extra.
Well, I just think it's BS if they are actually level now, because those fuckers didn't train for 2 months.
Yeah, they were little bitches because they
Apologies,
thought the training was...
YouTube crowd, but fuck those dudes.
Oh my god, just fuck them. But so I think because for those still with us or have come back, Tanjiro does learn, as you saw, total concentration breathing, but he learned how to do it so constantly he can do it while he's sleeping. So he's always in an accelerated state. He's always in an accelerated reflexes, speed, and strength. So that's what puts him over the edge. Plus his fire breathing now. He now knows how the same fire breathing. And remember that scene at the very end?
I couldn't tell if he knew fire breathing or if just that one time that he did it, like he's gonna be able to train on that or what the deal is. But supposedly this is something that isn't common.
Yeah, because there's one guy on the Hashira, the team of the top elite that knows flame concentration breathing.
And they're very, very, very specific about calling it flame breathing.
Concentration. Because he says to the master, Tanjiro said he knew fire concentration breathing. And everyone was like, oh, this guy. Because apparently he said he knew his dad knew it. And he's like, oh, really? So everyone was piqued. They felt the interest was piqued because I want to see next season, or at least in the movie. I think
he actually said it to the chick Hashira.
Oh, the insect one?
And then she brought it over and said, hey, he knows fire breathing. And they're like, oh, snap, for real?
So there was clear that he knows something, and it was learnt. He got learnt from watching his dad.
His papa
knew some fire breathing techniques when he would dance in a certain type of almost religious ritual when he was a kid. So he this kind of alludes like what was his dad back in the day? Is he the spawn of an old Hashira?
What's the deal with the stinking scars on their heads?
I don't know, dude.
Daddy and son have the exact same ones.
Did you notice it changed?
Yes.
It went
multiple times. It's been changing.
Apparently, and I didn't look it up. I saw it in a thread, but I didn't see any spoilers for it. Apparently, in later chapters or in later seasons, there is a purpose for that. That was intentional. So I'm curious. Because
it better be intentional if it's changing because they're too lazy to fix the art.
Right. So
that's a big time problem for Captain ETH.
That's a big old no. That would take me down to a harsh 94. Harsh 94.
It would just precipitously drop it from a 95.
If I see one more
out of 100 to a 94, 12 Kizuki.
One more scar change, mister, and I might see it down to a 91. A whole one. But you got anything else to say about this show, man? Like,
I mean, it's just an absolute slapper. I think I was hoping that he would get a new sword, not just reforge his old one. But I will say that was the most funny part of the whole show.
Yeah.
Was his sword manufacturer guy, when he comes back with his forged sword, he gets pissed off and is trying to stab him.
Just tries to stab him with his own reforged sword. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry. It's like, no, this is the sword, dude. How dare you?
He's like, he was too strong. And he goes, no, you were too weak.
What did he do? He's the one who stabbed it. Oh, man. Okay. I would say, who's your...
Komaida's sick as fudge.
Who?
Komida, whatever.
Tomida?
The water Hashira.
Yes, yeah. It's basically his
Sasuke.
Yeah, essentially water Sasuke. He's
water Sasuke.
He's also his brother disciple. He's Tanjiro's brother's disciple.
Right.
Because he also knows, and he knows that was badass when he said Tanjiro knows 10 forms, and he whips out water breathing 11th form. So
right.
So this show has done a really good job of kind of hinting at things to explore different types of breathing that Tanjiro can know, expansion of water breathing, and where total concentration breathing as a whole can go. Since we learned you can do it all the time now, are there other levels? Are there other places? I would like to see a way for Tanjiro to mix fire and water style together.
Which doesn't sound like it would make a whole lot of sense.
Become the Todoroki.
Smoke style.
Become the Todoroki. I would just like to see him go from like water right into fire, then right back to water. Like being able to switch in and out, not necessarily merge the two, just being able to switch on the fly between them. And I
want to see red water.
So blood style?
Yeah,
How
blood
dare you?
style.
Yeah.
Rasen Shuriken.
The last thing too, Nezuko-chan's blood art. That was rad as fuck.
Where she just went...
blood art, exploding blood. So basically any blood becomes a bomb for her.
Yeah.
Rad. Just so
Very
cool.
rad.
Peak rad. So.
So rad.
So rad. Y'all should go watch it right now.
Not bad.
Yeah. As soon as the episode's end, turn it off. Don't sleep. Just truck it.
Go ahead.
Actually, you know what? Take care of yourself. Sleep well.
Dad, if you're at work right now...
Yeah, you get to talk to your dad about anime right now.
Watch this.
Yeah, Mr. Schaefer, if you like Naruto, this I'm not gonna say cream.
He did like Naruto. He just finished the Pain arc.
Your dad's trucking it, dude.
Flying.
You're a G, dude.
I mean, he's probably skipping around and stuff like that, but he's getting the major plot points, and we're chatting about it at work, which is funny.
Yeah, my dad likes anime plot lines and character stuff like that. He's just not a big animation guy. So studios, get out there and make some decent anime adaptations in the movie theaters, baby.
For dads.
Do it for the dads. Hashtag do it for the dads.
Do it for the dads.
But yeah, I think that's it, dude. We kind of gushed all we can about Demon Slayer.
Definitely wraps it up for me. I just want to thank you once again to Jaime.
Yes, Jaime, our boy, Diskette Disko, for making the theme song called Super Ultra Laser Beam. It's kind of a banger. It's definitely going on my playlists. And it will be today's outro. But thank you, everyone, for coming to class. 5 stars on review on Apple Podcasts would be appreciated.
Yes, please write a review if you can. That really helps search engines.
Where else can they find us, Ethan?
They can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and many, many more.
I'm going to start doing that more. That's fun. But yeah, so check us out.
Also our YouTube channel, which you're watching right now, hopefully.
Hello. And go check out our Instagram, at weebologypodcast. Memes, pics, and
tricks.
Memes, pics, and tricks. Top trick: watch anime at home in the dark on a big ass TV. Not sure how it's a tip or trick.
Top 10 list about anime.
If your mom comes into your room checking if you're sleeping before school tomorrow, make sure you watch it under the covers so they don't even know that you're awake. Make sure you have headphones on too so they can't hear the weird weeb noises coming from your room.
Yada yada.
Yada yada Disney.
Matene.
I think that's it. So I'm Ricky.
And I'm Ethan.
And this has been Weebology. Peace.
Thanks for coming to class.
Oh, thanks for coming to class.
Species.
Species, geeses, and pieces.